Hello everyone. GameStop reported pretty good earnings. And the SPY is bouncing, and we're gonna take a look at everything. All right, we're gonna take a look at the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Russell, the dollar, the bonds, and GameStop. All right, so without further ado, let's get started with the video. Also, guys, please make sure to like the video as well. That really helps. And also, just to like gauge, can you please comment down below if you guys are also holding on to the January GameStop calls that we got into? I would really like to see who else is long GameStop. All right, so GameStop is up pretty well in the after hours. So we closed, and it looks like it's above $20 right now. Well, it's not over until the fat lady sings, but they reported pretty good earnings. So they beat revenue, and on an adjusted basis, GameStop lost 3 cents per share compared with analysts' estimates of 14 cents. So analysts thought that they were going to have a loss of 14 cents. They only actually lost 3 cents, which is very good. And revenue rose about 2% to 1.16 billion for the quarter, and estimates were only 1.14 billion for the quarter. So they beat earnings estimates. Oh, sorry, they beat revenue estimates and the CPE earnings per share estimates. Oh, losses. And shares of the company rose more than 5% as a result of indicated effort that digital presence were paying off. And there's been a lot of different partnerships that GameStop basically made with Blizzard and other large companies in the past quarter that is helping propel this. Also, another indication is that their chairman is also taking control of the company as a whole. So that also gave a lot of comfort to GameStop shareholders, because there's a lot of trust involved now with the board and the with the board, as well as the CEO and the C-level executives. So that's really good as a whole for like the culture of GameStop. So that's all in all. Oh yeah, they have it right here. So gamers have been splurging on popular titles such as Activision's Blizzard's, Diablo, and Electronic EA. So they made a few partnerships with these companies in the past quarter as well. So that really helped. So yeah, GameStop is doing well. Hopefully it opens above $20. These contracts are going to be up, hopefully comfortably up about 80-90%. Let's see. That's going to be really good. But yeah, there's that for GameStop. Let's hope that it opens at 25. That'd be even better. But yeah, next, let's just go and take a dive into the overall market and the S&P 500 and the dollar. All right, so what I was waiting for on the SPY is I wanted, so number one, I was saying that there were two main levels of support that needed to hold: 447, 448 area, and then 443. I am waiting. So currently, right now, we're holding on to 450 calls on the SPY for October 20th. Once we hit 443, if we hit 443 either tomorrow or on Friday, I am going to buy, most likely I'm going to buy either 450, somewhere above 455, 450 to 455 calls for about a month out once we hit 443. And that's what I'm really waiting for. But what ended up happening is we bounced off of 444. So hopefully we get that 443 level on the SPY. That would be spectacular. And the reason why I am looking to buy the dips, the reason why I said in yesterday's video that I'm going to be buying all the dips, is two main reasons. Number one, the dollar is getting very overextended to the upside. And we know that it's important to watch the dollar because the dollar has an inverse relationship to the market. If the dollar is really, so look, basically right now the dollar is trading closed outside of the upper level of the Bollinger Band. It can continue to trade and close outside of the upper level and continue to basically just ride along this upper B band. It can continue rising. But the higher it goes and the more extended it gets to the upside, the less likely that the dollar is going to continue. And since it has an inverse relationship to the market, guys, it's very, very simply, I don't think that the dollar can continue rising. What does that mean for the stock market? It means that the stock market should get a bounce. Because if the dollar falls, then the stock market gets a bounce. Very, very simply. The dollar is getting extended, which means that the stock market, which means that the dollar should fall and the stock market should bounce. So that's my first thought process of wanting to buy the dips. The second thought process of me wanting to buy the dips was these large tech stocks had a lot of buyers. But today, for example, Apple had a lot of buyers. We saw a lot of strength in the tech sector. It outperformed the Russell clearly, right? The NASDAQ was very, very strong. And when that happens, generally, there's a shakeout and a continued move led by tech. So that is essentially my thought process. But today, Apple took a huge hit. Nvidia took a huge hit. Tesla didn't take a huge hit, but it was still, you know, wasn't spectacular. But the good thing is that Microsoft held. It didn't do too bad, right? And Google didn't do terribly either. We could take a look at Amazon as well. Amazon also didn't, you know, it's not terrible, but it's holding a level of support. So what I'm saying is the large tech stocks that need to carry the market. So one other thing to take into consideration is that Apple is releasing its iPhone 15 next week. So with this down move in Apple, it could be the perfect opportunity to buy dips for a run up into next week. So there's a lot of things happening next week. CPI data also gets reported on Wednesday. The options expire on Friday. And the S&P 500 seasonality shows bullishness into that day and afterward as well. So there's a lot that basically the reason why I was overall bearish and buying dips is because I was expecting us to see some weakness into the end of this week, which is basically what's happening, for a run up into the end of next week, which is why we're getting into October 20th calls. And as we fall lower and lower, I'm going to be buying into calls on a shorter expiration date so that we can basically get more money and basically just play the move on a shorter time frame. And, you know, it'll play out better that way. So now, very simply, 443 needs to hold as support on the SPY. Once we hit 443, there is a very, at this point, if we were to hit 443, everyone would become bearish, right? And that would be the perfect opportunity for a nice bounce to the upside. And basically, this is not 100% guarantee this is going to happen. But say, for example, we hit 443. Say, for example, we break 440. You know, we break 444. We hit, let's just put 443.30. All right. We should be able to get a nice bounce to at least the 38.2% fib, which is this 447 area, which is also a prior level of support from before. So we should get a nice bounce to that level, which is why I'm really, really waiting for 443, because a bounce at that point would make everyone bearish. Basically, a fall down to this level would be very, very bearish. And 443 coincides perfectly with the 38.2% fib. This is not really... So on this close, if we were looking at this on a 1 minute time frame on the SPY, this is not a clean opportunity to go long, what is most likely, what would usually happen on a 1 minute time frame, if this is a bullish move, is it would hold above 445. It would definitely hold above this low, and then it would slowly gear towards a bounce. This would not generally create a strong V-shaped recovery overnight. So I'm hoping that it doesn't do that. And I'm hoping that it gives another opportunity to buy much lower. Preferably below 444, closer to 443 on the SPY. And yeah, with tech continuing to lead, with Apple potentially being able to bounce into next week, with seasonality of September being bullish towards the middle and end of the month, and the dollar being very far overextended, there's a lot of reasons why buying the dips is a good opportunity, in my opinion. So on the NASDAQ, basically, we're also pinned to the 375 area, which is also really, really good. The NASDAQ is still showing a lot of strength. We saw some love coming into the IWM, obviously, because the Russell was the biggest loser. But the NASDAQ is still holding its own. It's still comfortably holding above, you can clearly see above these 373. 373 is still holding really, really well. We have not even gotten close to the 50% fib at 371.60, which is really, really good. But overall, on a 1 minute time frame, this setup, so just zooming out, right? I don't know what happened to my drawings, but anyway, there we go. Generally, this setup on a 1 minute time frame does not break the highs. This is a bearish setup, and it usually leads to new lows. Okay, so I'm not going to be like, oh, we're going to break into 465 and we're going to make new high. That's not what I'm looking for, because you know, honestly speaking, on a 1 minute time frame, this generally almost never breaks above the high. And if it does, then it would make a really, really, really good short opportunity. If this breaks above 460, if this breaks above 450, 454, right? If it breaks above this high, then anything above, long-term shorts, easy shorts for maybe like 2-3 months out, and it would be a really, really good short, because this generally should not break up. What I'm looking for is a bounce back to at least 447, 448 once we hit 443. That would be a really good risk reward trade, because if we get close to 443, it would be really, really devastating for them to break below 442, because then if we break below 442, then this entire bullish structure that we have would be done, and we would end up making new lows, and 420 would be the target. So right now, I want to play for a small little bounce. We have the 440, we have the 450 calls that we got at 447, but I really, really want this to break and touch 443, so that we could get calls again for a bounce to at least 448, 449. If it breaks above, if it touches 443, and then if it breaks above 448, then the upward momentum can help propel us. It could help propel us to above 450, which would be really nice. So yeah, let's just see how that plays out. You know, we just have to monitor how things go day by day. But currently, you know, I'm hoping that we get a bit more of a pullback tomorrow. It would depend on also the strength in the dollar, if the dollar's strength continues. But the tech stocks and the NASDAQ is still holding really well. And the IWM also, you can clearly see, does not look that great, but the IWM is getting close to 185, 184 support. So it's tough to start going short when the IWM is at a level of support, when the NASDAQ is at a level of support, and when the SPY is close to 443 support. So everything is getting close to levels of support. Obviously, this is clearly bearish momentum. You would have, I'm not, you know, what's the word? I'm not delusional. This is clearly a bearish move on everything. This is a bearish move, but we're not hoping for a bounce above everything and just blindingly bullish. We're looking for small gains. We're looking for 448, 449 on the SPY. That'd be nice. And then from there, we re-maneuver and we evaluate everything. We take some profits. Hopefully that's what ends up happening. But yeah. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I also posted my trade recap video where I went in depth about the exact trades that I took earlier today on the live. And I went into detail about why I took them. And I'm going to be starting to post those daily as well. So I really hope you guys check that out, and I hope you guys enjoy them. And yeah, man, one step at a time. Let's check what GameStop is at. I really hope GameStop just opens at 25. It's at 1975. Let's just hope that it opens at 25. And that would be great. But yeah, all right. With that being said, love you guys. Please also make sure to comment whether you guys are in GameStop or not. But yeah, all right. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you aren't subscribed already. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Have a good one. Love you guys.